Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of Momentum. I'm your host, Big Lez, joined always by Jake Marketo. Jakey, what's been on for you this week, brother?
Mate, to be honest, I had a weekend off work. I nailed all my hours and my shifts Monday to Friday, so I had a bit of free time. So I just pretty much trained, went and watched my godson play his game of footy and supported him and kept to myself, which was really good.
How did he go?
He did well. They ended up doing the mercy rule, so that's when you lead by 60 or more. So they touched him up and he played well.
Oh, very good, very good. Alrighty, let's get stuck into a bit of an Origin preview. Got all of our notes here and very excited to get stuck into this one, but also equally terrified for this game because there's just so much on the line here for Queensland. Obviously the series, but firstly, obviously, want to give our condolences on behalf of Momentum to Tino, obviously losing his father throughout the week. It's a super tough one. But we do wish him all the best during this time. Freddie, Fasalamala obviously passing away there. And you just know that Tino, if he does play in this game, he's just going to bring everything into it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, mate. Obviously, that's such a massive loss in anyone's life, losing their father. So I hope him and his family are doing the best they can at this moment. And I hope he's nice and tight with his family until the game, if he doesn't play.
Yeah, look, it does sound like he is going to make his way out there. And if you remember back to last year, Game 3, Munster was in a pretty similar situation. So at least he's got someone in camp with him that's been through a similar sort of thing and can give him words of advice and obviously some comfort during this time. And obviously the boys will get around him and play for him, which does scare me as a New South Wales fan because they've got a lot on the line and now they've got an extra layer to play for as well in there with Tino and obviously his father. So that's going to be pretty scary looking on as a New South Wales fan for sure. But obviously, just as general fans of rugby league, we do wish Tino all the very best. Look, talking about this game, mate, we'll start off with Queensland. You said in last week's episode, Munster is going to be the key. Break it down. How do you see this game going and what can you expect from Cameron Munster in this one?
Well, I'm just going off what he done against Newcastle. I think Munster has sort of drawn a line in the sand, it looks like, from my point of view, and that is only going to benefit the Melbourne Storm but also Queensland. I thought game one he was very solid. I thought he did really, really well. And, mate, as we spoke about it, you even heard Andrew Johns and Freddie talk about it, like, we were lucky, that a decision really went our way in regards to Ponga getting sent off and we were able to get away with the chocolates. Not to say that New South Wales didn't fight back hard and put their best foot forward, but 13 versus 13, game 2, we do have Payne Haas back. We do have some changes in the back line where Marky Mark is now in the team due to McLean out. I think that in some ways has the ability to really help us. Marky Mark's in a great lick of form. But in saying that, Queensland are no doubt wanting to send this to a decider at Suncorp. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think Munster will play a massive role in them possibly getting a W down in Melbourne.
He does seem to be playing with a little bit of ticker, particularly over the last couple of weeks with Melbourne, obviously needing to get some wins on the board, not only during this Origin period, but towards the back end of the year if they want to play finals footy this season. I'm sure that, he's going to want to play some good footy in this game to not only for Tino, but for that whole team and to get them over the line and get them towards a decider. A lot on the line here for Queensland. Our record as New South Wales in Melbourne isn't great. So Munster, you can guarantee, is in for an absolute blinder. Reece Walsh, he's obviously there on the bench. We sort of spoke about him and touched on him last week. Do you see him coming into the game, and where do you see him coming into the game?
If I'm looking at the game, and I think I stated it last week, I'm getting him on in the first half. I have no idea what his role is going to be. I have no idea what position he's going to play. I don't know if they're going to shuffle the back line to put him in. I don't know if they're going to remove a forward to speed the ruck up and put him in. But what I do know is him on the field makes their team extremely dangerous, and it's only going to benefit them. I hope he's on the field as much as possible, but he may just do that last 20, 25 minute, put him in there, get some late points. If they're behind, I would imagine he might play a bit more of a earlier role, but I'd love to see him on there in the first half and somewhere in the back line.
It'll be interesting, right? It's very game dependent because if Queensland do start with that first 20 minutes that they'd sort of come out against us with in game 1, and they do start to get a bit of a roll on and, we can't sort of drag ourselves back into the game like we could in game one, then there won't be much need in bringing Reece Walsh onto the field. But I think if it is a bit of a tighter game, New South Wales learned from their lessons in game one, and it's a bit more of an even contest. You can definitely see him coming on potentially even towards the back end of the first half. It'll be really interesting to see where he does come onto the field. You got to remember as well, last time Reece Walsh and Callum Ponga were on the field together, Callum Ponga was the utility. They brought him on in a bit of an edge back row corridor defensively, and it threw them off a little bit. And Bradman Best obviously goes down that way and scores the winning try. So it will be interesting to see, I guess, what the plan is going to be, where you position Walshy on the field. Do you bring Callum Ponga into the front line defensively and move Walshy out to fullback when he's on the field? Do you have Walshy in a bit more of a roaming role? That's going to be super interesting. So let's say Ponga and Walsh are on the field. Who's your fullback out of the two? Or are you leaving Callum Ponga at fullback?
Well, mate, that's a very difficult question. It depends how they want to play. From history, Ponga has been able to play in that middle third for short stints to be able to bring Reece Walsh in at fullback. You think that's the most logical answer, but in saying that too, if Ponga's carving, you don't change him. You leave him at fullback. So that might even halt Reece Walsh's ability to get on the field, because I don't know if he can actually defend in that middle third of the field. I don't think he's ever been put in that position at NRL level. I would find it a little bit of a testing ground for him to be in the middle third, especially in Origin. I think he would become a spot player in that sort of role, obviously not defending in the front line at NRL level. And obviously you've got the best middle forwards in the country or in the world, in both sides. But New South Wales having, your Payne Haas's, your AFBs, who else they got in the middle third there? You got Barnett, Yao, they will just use their smarts. Cleary will probably direct a lot of traffic at him. Ponga's a little bit of a bigger body. So he has before handled himself a little bit better, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. I think it might even be playing on maybe New South Wales' mind a little bit, just trying to figure out, what sort of role he will play, if any at all, because their bench has a little bit of everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That's one thing with Queensland. They've picked a pretty balanced team as well across the park, but their bench does have a little bit of everything, and it'll be interesting to see if Walshy does get on the field and where he sort of comes into the game. They have moved Plath back to the bench as well, so we sort of talked about that last week. It's sort of, for me, a thing of, Billy Slater's giving himself the option to bring Walshy into the game and potentially not play Plath. I think, to be fair, if there's one bloke that probably won't get on the field if Walshy is brought into the game, I think it's more so going to be Trent Liero, and that's nothing against Trent Liero as well, but he only played the last 10 to 15 minutes of game one. There was probably a chance where if Queensland ran away with that game, he probably wouldn't have played.
Yeah.
So I think that he'll probably be the guy that misses out, but it'll be very interesting. The guy I want to talk about, which I don't think is going to get a lot of mentions, but he just has sort of come back into a little bit of form, is Britt Nikora. Had a really good game prior to them going into camp. Ran for 150 plus meters, tore up. What does Nikora offer in the back row from your eyes compared to a Ruben Cotter being in that position?
I think he's got a little bit more aggression in a back row sense. I've always thought Ruben Cotter was a 13. So what I mean by that is he's a little bit smarter, I think, at playing the position rather than Cotter. Not to take anything away from Cotter as a rugby league player. I just think he suits that middle third of the field better, and Nikora is obviously a way better edge player. So I think he knows when to pick his time to be aggressive in defense and attack, whereas I think Cotter's just that 100 miles an hour where it can affect his defensive line at times when he can be over-aggressive trying to get at the halves. I think Nikora's got a bit more IQ in regards to defense, doubling man, tackling efficiency and all those types of things. He's very, very good at moving sideways as well, where I think Cotter's a little bit more up and down in that middle third, as I've stated before. So it's I think it's going to actually strengthen the edge that he plays on. And I really like that tight drop line that he plays for the Sharks as well. I've got no doubt they'll use him running that line in Origin.
Yeah, 100%. And just having him next to a guy like Sam Walker, who is a really good kick threat as well, not only having the threat of him running the ball and running those really good lines we see him run at Clubland, but also chasing kicks as well. And just Sam Walker's passing game has developed out of sight this year for me. I've really loved, his ball playing. We usually only see the cutout pass from Sammy, just hit the winger straight away, but he's really grown in assessing his options a little bit more, Sammy Walker, when it comes to that attack. So I'm really scared as a New South Wales fan, just looking at that edge. I think it could be a real problem. I think it's something that not a lot of people are looking at because Nikora has sort of been a little bit out of form and he's been on the bench at stages throughout the year. Paul Cronulla had a couple of injuries and whatnot. So I think people aren't really looking too closely at the Nikora move, but it could be a big one. It definitely could be a big one there, having him in the starting side. Talked about Sammy a little bit, talked about KP. Anything else for Queensland that you want to sort of touch on here?
Mate, to be honest, someone that hasn't probably been talked about, and I know I haven't, is Harry Grant also. I thought Harry Grant was great without being too much in the headlines in Origin 1. If you watch the game, he conducted a little bit behind the scenes with how they got out to that lead. He was very smart, delivery-wise. He was very, very on point. He gave the halves the ball when they needed it. And if you watch, he's actually going to Sam Walker, I think, a little bit more than Munster. Walker looks like in that game one, he was way more creative, where they were just sort of getting the ball to Munster when he thought he needed it. That's where I think this one here, Munster's sort of going to take it by the scruff of the neck. And I think Sam Walker will still play his role, but I just really feel Harry Grant may give the ball to Munster a little bit more due to the fact that he's appeared to have his footy head on at the moment. So I think Harry Grant will be in for a big one also.
Yeah, well, you make a good point. And I think... Well, I was talking to NRL Soapbox, shout out to him. We did a podcast for my podcast to preview Origin 1. And he said that as well, just with Harry Grant, if there's one bloke at 9 who can make the correct decision 90% of the time, it's Harry. He knows who to get the ball to in the big moments. Sometimes that is Munster, sometimes it isn't. He obviously found Sam Walker a lot more in game 1. Sam Walker had a bit of the hot hand too, and had Queensland won that game, you'd think that Sam Walker probably is the man of the match. So it'll really be interesting to see who does get the lion's share of the ball. Sammy Walker, while defending on the right side, was roaming down that left quite a bit in game 1 as well, which was super interesting. And they even had a really interesting little shift play, almost like rugby sevens, where one gets the ball, passes, Sammy Walker sort of goes out towards that, like almost like that fullback line. So he passes the ball to Munster, then he runs around him like rugby sevens to create an extra number, gets it back to Sam, then to KP. And so they had a couple of tricks up their sleeve, which I don't think they got to use in game 1 purely because of the way that the game went. Obviously, Ponga goes off and they had one less man there. So I think that they've got a couple of tricks up their sleeve we probably didn't see in regards to their plays and especially their shifts, which could be really dangerous. But yeah.
I was just thinking of something. I want to put something to you, right? Do you think they put Reece Walsh on the field and bring the 13 off, but they just play with 2 middles and they have shape both sides? With Ponga and the half on a right side as an example, because Ponga is very strong going to his right, isn't it? Or is it his left?
Ponga is very good on his left. He's not as strong on his right.
Left.
Yeah.
Then we've got Walsh parked on the right. Do you think they could be running block shapes either side of the field from, let's say, a middle? Or just either side of the post? Like, I'm just sitting here thinking about what type of shape they could possibly run, because I don't think they would have like a Walsh or a Ponga in the middle ball playing. I think they will hit the edges straight away, possibly as an outlook of shape.
Okay, yeah. Well, look, I wouldn't put it past them. And if anyone's going to be the architect of how these two fullbacks get on the field at the same time and attack the game, it's going to be Billy Slater. It's an interesting one. I think that you definitely see a bit of creativity in regards to their shape. I think that there will definitely be a couple of those weird and wacky players going to the left-hand side with Walshy and Ponga in there. And, who knows? It's going to be really scary to see them all on the field attacking-wise, and hopefully they can pull it off for sure. But I think that there's definitely going to be some weird and wacky plays in there, that's for sure. Look, not too much else here to talk about for Queensland. Hammer's been on a pretty solid run at Clubland too. I think he's scored a couple of 5 tries in his last 4 games or something. So he's on a bit of a tear. He's going to be definitely one to watch at left centre.
What about your man, Finay Fuiaki?
Oh,
yes. You picked him at the start of the year to make Origin. And I was touch and go with it. And he ended up having a great start of the year. They were actually going to him a lot. He's their Ulukwatu. I feel that the Dolphins. He's their real big barnstorming edge back role where they do a lot of attacking plays through. Where do you think he'll come on and play a role?
I think it's middle, I think he'll come on in the middle. Just the only reason I've got him coming on in the middle is because Nikora, for me, they did have a bit of a rotation. They swapped him with Cotter. I don't think we see that in game 2. I think that
him and Kate will stay there.
Yeah, I think they'll both play the full 80 minutes unless Walsh gets onto the field and they need to fill that corridor. I think you'll see both of those guys play the full 80. And I just like what Fuiaki brings. It's similar to, like, if you're not going to play, let's say they don't play Plath and they play Collins, Fuiaki, Liero, Walsh. Fuiaki, to an extent, gives you a little bit of what Radley will give you in regards to the leg speed, in regards to the smaller body, post-contact meters. He's going to be a real threat throughout the middle, just with a bit of a faster, smaller, and more mobile middle. And he's leading post-contact in the competition at the moment, Fuiaki. He's a beast. He's almost like a bit of a Spencer Leniu-arc sort of guy coming off the bench. I think he's going to come in high energy. He's going to probably play about 25 minutes, probably in the second half, and they're just going to get him to go absolutely nuts. I think he's going to be a really good player. Do you sort of agree?
Yeah, I do too. I think what you just said nailed it on the head. I'm just here looking at the teams now. Now, we're talking about Queensland, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at New South Wales backline. So we've got Tedesco, Kola, Staggs, and Marky Mark. I think that's stronger than the 1-5 in game 1 for New South Wales. I like Kohler in the centre rather than the wing. That's what I'm trying to imply. I really do like him in the centre and the wing, and I think Marky Mark speaks for himself, to be honest.
Yeah, I do like Kohler. I do like Kohler in the centres. For me, it doesn't make a lot of difference because I don't look at Kohler as like a ball-playing specialist there. Like the big thing for me with Kohler, being on the edge in particular, was just some of the defensive plays he came up with in game 1. I feel really comfortable having him there. Usually we've had a Latrell or we've had a Jackie Whiten in previous seasons who really good defensive centres. I've got enough faith in Kohler being there in the centres and doing a job defensively as well. After watching game 1, he was very, very good. His attack as well, very, very good player. I wouldn't mind him on the wing or in the centres. I'm very happy he's in the team. Marky, let's move to New South Wales. Marky's the one I want to talk about. Obviously, Casey McLean, guys, ruled out for game 2 with injury. He did his quad at training. So Mark Nwanganitawazi, he comes in on the wing. You'll imagine that Mark plays on the right side with Brian Toto shifting over to the left with Kula. Mark's an interesting one, mate, because if you look at Clubland, obviously what he can do in attack is outstanding. Got picked for Australia. For the most part, did a pretty solid job there. But the thing that sort of worries me, he's 3rd in the competition currently for errors. It's a yin-yang of Mark Nwanganitawazi, right? You get the fantastic plays, the game-winning plays, the incredible try-scoring ability, what he can do with the football in hand. You're going to get probably 4 errors out of him. We did have a couple of errors coming out of our own end with Critter and Toto in game 1. I just want to sort of minimise that. What are your thoughts on Marky Mark?
Although, just a question, I don't know if you have the stat. Are they competing errors or are these just flat out drop balls or lost in the ruck and stuff like that?
I think it's a culmination of everything. I think it was just all
mate, you can, like, for me, if we're attacking and they're competing errors, I can put up with that. He does have the tendency, though, I do remember around the ruck, he does have, can get a little bit sloppy. I think Toto's due for a massive one. I've never seen him play like that in Origin 1. I've never seen him drop the ball that many times, him and Crichton. That sort of got us on the back foot. That put us in that position when we were down by 3 tries, So if we can nullify that, go with them in that first half, it puts us in real good stead for the final 20 where we've actually been the strongest over the past 2-3 Origin series in that, that back into the 30 minutes of the second half. I think something too we've sort of glossed over is Mitchell Moses is back in the team. Now, I think that adds a whole heap of direction. It gives us a really, really good long kicking game. It gives us a great kicking game to our corners. I think Mitchell Moses adds a tremendous amount of attacking flair. Not to take anything with Ethan Strange. I think Ethan Strange's attacking flair comes with the ball in his hand, where I think Mitchell Moses just has the ability to create so much great shape, get the ball to where it needs to go 99% of the time. And I think he's just got that aura of arrogance, like that really healthy arrogance out on the field. So him coming back into the team, we've also got Huss. Like, we already know what this bloke's capable of. So I think our team is looking, somewhat stronger in the starting factor of the game. I think we'll be completely different in the first half than we were to game one.
Yeah, for sure. I think you've hit the nail on the head with Moses as well, just attacking wise. With Ethan Strange, he's very run first.
Yes.
Even though he was one of the better players in the side, and while I'm still a little bit iffy about picking a Moses that has only just started kicking today, that's sort of worried me a little bit. He's only just started kicking the footy today. I have more confidence in his ability to play footy on the edges. He's a short side specialist. We know that from a number of seasons now with Mitchy Moses. He's going to attack those edges. He's going to get the ball to guys like Kula to do their magic. He's going to get the ball to guys like Toto, even guys like Huddy Young as well. Bit of an architect there, Cleary. Those guys are going to play footy on their edges. Whereas Ethan Strange is very run first, attack the game. I wouldn't have been too against them potentially bringing in Ethan Strange in the centres, instead of Marky Mark. I love the Marky Mark pick, and he's going to do some good things in Origin. I can't wait to see him, but I would have liked to have had Ethan Strange there just to get him in the starting team, but I think that what you said is spot on in regards to the halves playing a bit more footy.
I think we're going to see Cameron Munster and Sam Walker make a whole heap of tackles this Origin game. I think having Moses in the team, we're going to be able to send some traffic to Sam Walker. Now, I don't think Sam Walker did as much tackling as he expected to do in game one due to the fact of what we just said, Moses not being there, Ethan Strange probably ball running a little bit more than ball playing, which is also great because it's ended up putting us in front when Ethan Strange was backing up. Not to say Moses can't do that as well, but I think we will just have those real small intricacies in the game that's going to allow us to build momentum, getting at the halves, playing off pass play the balls. Payne Haas will bring that through the middle third of the field, and I just really think Hudson Young and Lucas are going to generate some momentum on our edges, which is what you've sort of nullified as well. Moses then going down the short sides with the like of Stags, or if he drifts the other side of the field, he's also got Kohler there. So I think we're going to see a little bit more edge shot happening on a dry night because Melbourne is a closed field, isn't it? It's enclosed.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think it's going to come down to New South. It's there for like Queensland, great team, but it's also there for New South Wales to win. I think if we can start and stay with them, I think at the back end of the game we'll be fine. Especially, I think Payne Haas is just such a big in for us. It sets us apart a little bit.
If you're Sam Walker, who would you rather not have to tackle, Lucas or Young?
I'm going to go Lucas because I think Lucas is a line running back rower. Hudson Young's that real unorthodox, get the ball to him. He can run lines, but he also likes early ball, which is what I like because he's got the ability to skip, break tackles, get these really late offloads as well. Whereas Lucas, you watch his game, mate, he's a 10 out of 10 line runner. He hits that line so perfect. And when you're playing with halves, such as Cleary and Moses, that's going to be invaluable for the team.
Not having Ethan Strange there at 6, are you tempted to have Lucas on the left edge with Hudson Young on the right, or would you leave it?
Well, I overheard somewhere, it might have been yesterday or this morning, they're actually going to play Young on the right and Lucas on the left. Now, I don't know if that's just airy-fairy and been put out into the media world, but they were saying Young played right edge for Australia at the Ashes tour last year.
Yeah.
So they're looking to put Young on the right edge and Lucas onto the left. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's any footage rolling around of how New South Wales are training, but that's what I've heard.
I like it. I think Lucas just getting him as comfortable as possible there on that left edge in his Origin debut. Very, very good line runner, as you said, but when he breaks the line, quick as. Obviously, the try that he scored last weekend, he is a freak once he breaks the line too. So that's going to be a big watch there for New South Wales if he does play left. I think he's going to be a real handful for a Sammy Walker. He's just a big body as well.
Yeah.
Dylan Lucas, there's a lot of him, 96 kilos, 184 centimetres. He is at one of those stockier big bodies. I think that he is going to be a bit of a handful there. And then, as I said, once he breaks the line, if Sam Walker does miss that first contact, good luck trying to get him the second time because he is quite quick after he breaks that line. Got Barnett starting there, obviously, again with Payne Haas, obviously back in the side, is a huge inclusion. Talk to me about Payne Haas and what you can expect from him impact-wise coming back into this Blues team.
Well, he sounds like he's got a rocket in him at the moment. He gave his club teammates, 2-3 weeks ago, a revving after the game, and he's setting the standard at Brisbane again. I've got no doubt he wants to leave Brisbane with the premiership. So whether he just puts that whole club on his back after this Origin series and gets them to the promised land, he has the ability to do that. But I think him missing Origin 1, he's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet, which we need because we have the opportunity to go down to Melbourne and wrap it up. So I've got no doubt there's motivation behind that for him. He's just continually getting better and better. And, as I said before, I think he's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet and he's looking to set a bit of a standard down in Melbourne. Yeah,
I think so too. I think that he is in for a huge game. Do you start Barnett or would you start AFB?
Mate, I truly thought game 1, obviously Haas was injured. I would have had AFB and Haas starting. That's what I thought to myself. That's probably the most formidable 1-2 punch you could have in the Origin arena, those two blokes playing together.
Do you reckon he goes like 40 minutes straight or something? He comes on and plays a huge stint because Barnett might. I imagine Barnett probably plays the first 15.
Yep.
Do you then bring?
I wouldn't be, mate. If Haas has given you the thumbs up to stay in the field, just let the big man roam. I think Barnett will be the first change, and they'll get AFB out there. Then you've got those two big fellas out in the middle third wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm keen to see the minutes disparity between a couple of these guys because Haas is going to chunk up a couple minutes. I almost think Haas will play 60 minutes in this game. I think Yowie will play some big minutes. I think Addin-Fonua-Blake probably plays.
I think Radley's probably going to have a reduced role and they're just going to say to him, mate, go out there, we're going to put you 10 minutes either side of the half and be a heat seeker and just destroy some blokes if you can and try and force a couple turnovers and set a bit of a standard in there.
Do you reckon potentially at some point in the game, if Sam Walker is a bit hot, they put Radley on the edge and just go take him out?
There's a potential for that to happen. Who knows? And their team, like their clubland teammates, I just feel, right, looking at the team now, as I stated before, with our halves and our back rowers, I think they're going to get a lot of ball. And 6 and 7, your Munster and Walker, they're going to be making more tackles than what they did in Origin 1, and that's going to be extremely beneficial for us.
Yeah, 100%. Api Coruscant there in jersey 17 as well. He's an inclusion off the bench with Blake Brayley out. It is pretty clear that they are wanting to go with that 2-9 punch there. Talk to me about the impact that Api Coruscant could have on this game. He's been in some pretty solid form this season.
Very strong. Very strong rugby league player. He has a great sleight of hand. Those sort of, when he jumps out and he fakes under, he does it a couple times. You think the ball's gone, then he ducks under. He's very strong. Great at hitting under the ball also. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a 20 to 25 minute stint. I think Reece Robson will start the game and play a tremendous role in New South Wales Origin 2. But I think Api Coruscant will get a good solid chunk of minutes that will allow him to inject himself into the game.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really keen to see him. Just maybe just poke his nose as well, run the footy a bit, have a bit more of an impact around tired defenders in and around the ruck. That's going to be super exciting. Mate, just last one quickly before we get our predictions in. Back to Queensland. It's one question I forgot to ask with Harry Grant. Do you reckon there's a chance that Plath starts, plays the first 15 minutes, and then Harry Grant comes off the bench and has an impact similar to what he did for Melbourne a couple of weeks ago against the Chookies?
I don't see it. It has the potential to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I just don't see it happening. No, I think he'll start
because they made a good point was made. I was talking to Clarkey. He made a really good point because they are missing Carrigan and they're just missing that real punch off the bench, maybe a little bit. Instead of having it coming from a forward, you're having it coming from Harry Grant around a tied forward pack, bigger bodies obviously through the middle there for New South Wales, and Harry Grant comes on and starts to lurk and sort of tear us to shreds a little bit there through the middle of the field.
Mate, it has the potential to happen. With interchanges, what you're saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Api Coruscant and Fanua Blake came on at the same time or a couple minutes apart just to get those fresh legs in there, maybe like your 25, 27-minute mark, get that double change on where you can get another big body remaining out there, plus Api Coruscant being in the middle, showing and going, doing his thing, and then you get probably a Cameron Murray out there for the last 10 minutes of the half just to speed the ruck up a little bit more. So there's pros and cons with what they've got, Queensland and New South Wales, but I wouldn't think Harry Grant will start off the bench, but anything can happen in Origin.
I think Cameron Murray is going to play at least 55, 60 minutes. I think he's going to play the back 60 of the game. He'll come on after 20 minutes and finish the game, I think.
So you think Barnett's going to play a lesser role or Yo? Because I don't see Payne Haas playing under 50 minutes.
I think Barnett's going to play the Jake Trbojevic role of maybe a couple of years ago, and he'll play the first 15 minutes, and that'll be it, sort of thing. And they'll bring the faster bodies on through the middle.
Yeah, okay.
I just think Barnett, love Barnett. I just feel like this year he's been a little bit underdone. He's had a couple of injuries, hasn't got a lot of match fitness in him. I think he's been picked because of what he's done, obviously last year, and he's
got the resume.
Yeah, he's got the resume. I look at Fanua Blake, he's going to play big minutes. I look at Murray, he's going to play big minutes. I look at Yo, he's probably going to get some decent minutes. Haas is going to get some decent minutes. I think it's just someone's going to be unlucky. I think it's going to be Barnett, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Any chance Ethan Strange comes into the game for you?
Mate, I think with Api Coruscant there, that puts a little bit more of a doubt on his role, in my opinion. I think he's there maybe strictly for cover for Moses. Depends how good Moses is. I suppose leg holds the speed of the game. Calf injuries, they have the tendency just to re-pop up at any sort of given time. He's a great little handy backup for a half that goes down. But I just think with Api Coruscant there, we'll see big minutes through the 14 to the 17 mark. Just before we do what we do, Jack Bostock. What an inclusion and what a start to the year. He's come back off a season-ending injury last year and absolutely come out of a rocket and put the Dolphins, into some very, very, a big confidence bubble. Like, if you watch the Dolphins, man, they were sort of up and down. Jack Bostock's come in, solid defense. He actually played really, really well. Probably, what is it going now? Maybe 4 to 6 weeks of just solid. But each game he's gotten better. It's not like he's come in and been an eight and a half. He's gone like 8, 9. Not like he's like gradually building up to like those 10 out of 10 games where he's been solid in defense. He's scoring tries, competing on kick chases, a massive one too. He's actually become a target for those cross-field kicks. So like there's a whole heap of good things coming out of Redcliffe, and good on Jack Bostock for getting brought into the team.
Well, he was only getting slotted into the centres with the injury to Avarillo just in the meantime before Avarillo was supposed to come back.
He's locked it down, hasn't he?
Mate, he's locked down that centre position. There's no way you're taking him out of there unless there's an injury again, which I hope there's not for him. But I seriously doubt that you're going to be able to take him out of this side. You've got Cobbo on that left wing now with Herbie. That's his right centre position's pretty much his now moving forward. And, he's killed it, mate. I've obviously talked about him the last couple of weeks, saying he deserves a spot in Origin, and I'd seriously consider him. He's in that jersey 19 now, and if there's any injuries, I think moving forward, I think he's going to be one of those guys you give an opportunity to. So, Bostock, really, really good to see him in camp. Really good to see him on this six-man bench. Don't think there's any chance of him coming on unless there's an injury, but, Casey McLean got lucky in game 1 and got onto the field for that incredible 20 minutes. So, always the potential to see him do the same.
Yep.
Blues on Maroons, mate. What are you thinking for game 2?
I'm going Blues, and I think New South Wales will win. I think if we can get into that real arm wrestle with them, don't give them cheap turnovers in that first half, I think we could end up touching them up by the end of the game, due to the fact that the first 25 minutes of Origin 1 is what allowed Queensland to do what they did, and they did it really well. They have a very, very good team. But I just see so many things where if New South Wales can get to Sam Walker and Cameron Munster and take a bit of juice out of them, make them tackle, that's going to allow Moses, Cleary start to pick them apart a little bit. A lot of things have to go right for us, but I truly do think if we can match them in that first half, we'll end up being a bit of a blowout. Let's see how wrong I could possibly be, though.
Yeah, well, look, I'm going the other way. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a 2-point game. New South Wales will get up. I think it's going to be by 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see let's throw out a scoreline 26-24. Let's go 26.
To Queensland or New South Wales?
To New South Wales. So
South Wales, right. So I think if what I said comes to fruition where we can match them in that first half, I think we get them maybe like a 28-10.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. I think Queensland have got so much to play for. We'll see. Queensland have got so much to play for. Like Tino,
Yeah, mate. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. I think I've watched the game back once, and I took into account because I was sort of in that train. I'm like, maybe Ponga won it, but I like. That decision affected the game, obviously, but our 5 to 6 errors in that probably 6 or 7 minute period, and Queensland put 3 tries on us, that allowed them to do that. We take that out of the game, it's a very, very different 60-minute mark. Like, it's very different for New South Wales and Queensland. So it's going to be interesting, but I just truly feel if we match them that first half, we have the potential to run away with it.
Yeah, well, look, we'll have to wait and see. For me, it is going to be 26-24 to the Blues. Who is your man of the match for Game 2?
Us.
I am going to go... Give me Nathan Cleary again. I think he goes back-to-back. If it's a 2-point game, I think the Big Lez...
He'll have a big say, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll have that winning kick there. So New South Wales by 2, Cleary man of the match for me. You've got New South Wales 13 plus, it seems, with Payne Haas as the man of the match. All right, let's get stuck into your round 16 tips. Kicking us off with your Dragons, mate, going up against the Newcastle Knights at home.
Where are we playing at, Win?
We're playing at McDonald Jones.
Up there.
Yeah. You're assuming that the Newcastle players will most likely back up.
It's a big, yeah. You know what? I'm going Dragons 1-12.
All right, I'm taking Newcastle. Tigers and the Dolphins. That's at Tigers home.
Dolphins.
Fins up. Titans at Titans home going up against the Panthers.
Oh, the Panthers. We haven't got the team list in front of us.
No.
I don't think the Panthers players will back up. I think they didn't play last time, did they? Did they back up?
Casey backed up. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. I'll still pick the Panthers.
Yes, I'm going to go Panthers as well.
It's hard to go past them.
Yeah. Dogs and Seagulls.
Seagulls.
I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to go the Dogs.
Yep.
They need it. They really fucking need this win. The Warriors and the Cowboys.
Good game.
Yeah.
Where?
Not bad. At Christchurch.
I'm going New Zealand. They got back-to-back games at home. I think they're devastated about the Sharks loss. I think they'll win that.
Yep, same. Warriors. Storm and Raiders.
Storm, mate. They've fallen off the rugby league cliff. The Raiders. Wow.
Yeah, it's a tough one. They've had a ton of injuries in the middle, but yeah, what can you do? Like,
yeah, they made that, but they haven't. Correct me if I'm wrong. They haven't had a lot of a turnover on their roster, have they? Besides Fogarty, Fogarty's obviously a big loss for them, but people had them in the grand final last year. And they went out in straight sets, and this year they've just really struggled to get any kind of continuity, haven't they?
Yeah, it's look. Rookie 7 coming in. He only played 3 games of first grade prior to, obviously, taking over at the Raiders. I think we've come in with such high expectations on the Raiders because they were the minor premiers last year.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, I actually think they're sort of in a bit of a rebuild at this stage.
Certainly looks like it.
It's going to be Papali'is. Obviously, it's his final year. He's been out with injury for a long time. I think they're sort of in the back end to mid to back end of a rebuild at this stage. They've got the second youngest spine in the comp, and that's the first is the Titans, I think. So, it's a tough one. Inexperience. Roosters and Sharks to finish us off. Not a bad finish to your Slinger Sunday.
I'll go the Roosters.
Yep, going to take the Chookies as well. Oh, but Hines could be back.
Yeah, I'll still take the Roosters, I think.
Yep, same. I'm going to go the Roosters. All right, there you go. That's your episode of Momentum done and deuced. Make sure if you haven't already to subscribe and use our code Momentum for 10% off breathies. You can see Jakey wearing it to the left or right of screen. I don't know what side he's going to end up on when this one comes out, but you can see Jakey wearing the nose tape there.
The grouse.
The grouse, that's right. Good for your recovery. And then on-track meals as well, 10% off with the code Momentum. We will see you guys in the next one.